with caution.
Seems fine. Anyways, as I was saying, we are doing RGL Week 7. Welcome everyone. Emprint, Talix, Sven, McGriff, Lecran, Dogo. How you guys doing? Great to see you all here. Yeah, we're at Week 7. And normally this should have been the last week for group stages. Unfortunately, which we are going to see in the forum post from Triple TP, that is not the case. There's still a couple of matches that have been delayed in weeks, the previous weeks. So we still have a couple of master matches that should happen next week's before we can get into the playoffs. And also, sadly, one of the master players has forfeit another master players, and it is Mr. Dangshot. Unfortunately, due to medical reasons. I'm assuming it's his wrist issues that he has been dealing with for probably his entire life. Has been too much for him during this season, so unfortunately he has thrown the towel in the ring. Thank you, Kosh, from Upcoming Nightmares. Yo, Snake Heels, how you doing, man? It's good to see you, buddy. Thanks for dropping by. Anyways, as usual, we're going to have a look at the forum post that our lovely RGL reporter, Mr. Triple TP, has made for us before we step into these matches. So, Week 7. Let's see if I can... that makes it easier to read for you guys as well. Week 7 was the final planned week of the group stage, with each player only having a single scheduled match. Unfortunately, Dangshot had to forfeit for medical reasons. This resulted in a significantly reduction in the number of delayed matches, but even now there are quite a few Masters matches left unplayed. My pick for highlight of the week was between the two players currently at the top of the table in Masters. So Blackened versus Cav are currently in the top 2 in the Masters division. Best of the rest, we have this season has seen Hulk go from a new player into a regular highlight material, and he had 2 more good matches. So we have Big Hulk versus Tuchani and Big Hulk versus Private Leaf. Honorable mentions this week. At the start of the week, a few players were competing for the last spot in playoffs. The most likely contenders are Despro and Unano, who conspired to pick some awful colors. Oh my god. We got Despro versus Unano. Finally, this mid-table match completes the highlights for this week, which is Anju versus Jugman. So luckily we have a very short highlight reel today, which is perfect because we also have a special surprise for you guys. I've been working on a new OpenRA series. It's gonna be interactable as well, and we're gonna do that at the end of the highlight streams. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek. So I got 19 clips for you guys, and we're gonna do something fun with those clips, but more of that later. For now, we're gonna enjoy these replays of the previous week of RGL. So I guess we're gonna do top to bottom, except we're gonna jump over after we did one Hulk versus anyone match, just to get some variety in here. So we're just gonna start with a big one, a banger. We're gonna do Despro versus Unano, and they're playing on. This is Sompio, right? Yes. This is Sompio. I believe we ended the stream of last week highlights as well with this map, and now we're starting it with this map. And yeah, very similar colors, but we got Unano in the bottom left, playing as Germany, and we've got Widow Smells Bad, aka Despro, in the top right, playing as Russia. I know how it feels for medical forfeit. Yeah, man, like you were the same. I think it's I don't think that Dan can do anything about it, to be fair. Obviously I don't know the exact situation of what's going on with Dan, but I know he's been dealing with that since as long as I've known him, to be honest. From the start when he was doing OpenRA, he was struggling with that. So yeah, I don't think there's anything that he can do about it. It's hard to say. But yeah, unfortunately, this was also the first time he actually did a season. So maybe that was just too much for him, doing like, I think, because normally you're scheduled to do at least one match a week, and I'm assuming he also wants to do some training matches as well. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Dang was also looking very promising to be in the playoffs. Granted, he didn't play that many matches. I believe he also delayed a lot of matches due to his wrist injury, which is just unfortunate. But you know, it is what it is. We appreciate Dang for playing at the start of the games, providing us some nice content. I think one of the matches that were featured was versus Blackened and versus Calf, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, hello, you not. Oh my. That NG was meat for the dog. So yeah, once again, good usage of the dog here by Despro. And so far, nothing out of the ordinary, except we got War Factory first from Yunanos. Is going for a light tank straight away. He should know where the army from Despro is hanging about, because his scout just got killed. But he might be afraid of rockets, and that's exactly what's coming in as well. Despro, in the meantime, went for double riff. Obviously, is looking good. I like that War Factory placement as well, right next to the road to get that to that expansion quicker. Oh wow, he still lost the light tank. That's huge. That is a huge deal. Potentially, Yunano could be under a lot of pressure right now. Despro is 100% aware that that was a War Factory first build. And it seems like he's going to prepare for a rocket drop. But yeah, this is the dangerous part about a War Factory first. Yes, you do get your harvesters a little bit quicker and your MCV as well if you're not going to go for a tank first. However, if you lose your first light vehicle, like that early light vehicle is important to keep your opponent at bay, to give yourself some intel, maybe go for a couple of snipes. But yeah, that was definitely not the case. So now a rocket drop is on its way with 4 rockets in there. It's gonna be a pretty good drop. Hey Tux, how you doing, man? Good to see you're here. Even though it's probably once again very late for you. Hey, it seems like there's only 3 in there, so I believe he brought a couple of rockets with him. 3 is definitely a little bit worse. I think it takes four shots each to take down a harvester, and with 4 rockets it's 3 if I'm not mistaken. But don't pin me on that. APC is just chilling in the bushes here, waiting for its opportunity to kill its prey. Wait, why is my text fucked like that in the middle of my fucking face, dude? What the fuck is going on? Okay, that's better. I was like, why? Why is it? Something like that. Anyways, let's have a look at the standings so far. The statistics: we've got 10k army value for Despro, we've got 7k army value for Yunano, and looking at the earnings so far, Despro is going through the roof, which is kind of crazy actually. But very, very standard play from Despro so far. We had this conversation last week as well, and it brought back up a new conversation. Seems like the rocket drop has not worked out. Harvester is still alive. But yeah, everyone was talking about the fact that Despro was a little bit rusty from his matches, and Dang was assigned by Despro himself to point out his mistakes. And that caused some controversy in the Discord last week. Yada yada yada. So now Despro is here again. And yeah, he told, apparently it was the fact that he's working like 6 hours a week for the past weeks. So it's been very hard for him to get some practice going in. And yeah, OpenRA is one of those games, if you don't keep practicing a RTS game, then you're just gonna be a little bit rusty, maybe a little bit in your macro. You're gonna make some small micro mistakes here and there, but it is what it is. Anyways, I thought that APC actually died, but it did not. So it's actually doing a really good job harassing Yunano's harvesters. Now he lost one rocket, but that's okay, because even though he didn't lose no rockets up until now, he's forcing the harvesters every single time to get off of these patches, and that is going to reduce the income for Yunano's in terms of economy. Good harassment here. Once again, very good back and forth from Despro. Is gonna push his luck here a little bit, but that pillbox is gonna shred through that infantry. And here's another flank from the bottom. Yunano is trying on a counter-offensive through the middle, but Despro is more than ready. He's going to retreat with his MCV just to get some more static defense support. And yeah, in the meantime, Yunano is looking like a little bit in trouble here in the main base. But double pillbox again. That's gonna shred. That is painful, but at least Despro got a harvester for his troubles. He managed to snipe the refinery here earlier as well. And he's going in with a small army again. And this is still a pretty dangerous army. There's 2 rockets and 2 heavy tanks. It's going to do significant damage versus harvesters here. This harvester is definitely going to go down. Very good attacks. In the meantime, we got a big clash here in the middle. But this is going to be painful for Yunano. Luckily for him, the V2s are not being microed. So actually, because of that, Yunano is going to win that engagement. Went a little bit poor here for Despro. Is getting a good shot before retreating though. Yeah, but oh yeah, that's such a bad angle to attack from. Look at the V2s and look at that cheeky flame tower here behind the trees. I like it. I like it. In the meantime, harassment's still going strong here. Another harvester at low health. And here he goes again, going in here. Pillbox might help him out a little bit, but not enough. Needs to do some microing, but these heavy tanks are still going strong, and another harvester might lose its life. But Despro is going to retreat for the time being. So yeah, very good pressure so far. Not much that Yunano can do about this. And this actually seems almost over. This 21k army value for Despro and 6k army value for Yunano. In the meantime, let's have a look at what all these small eco harassments caused for Yunano's economy. Look at that. Look at those peaks. And these are not only from destroying the harvesters, these are also the cause of the harvesters needing to be pulled off the ore patches because of those harassments with the APC. And you can see that that causes so much of a downward spike every single time, while Despro, you know, not being harmed at all by harassments from Yunano, has a very nice straight line upwards for the most part. But at the same time, what's also really beautiful about this is, even though those eco harassments are really nice, but the most beautiful thing about it is that he preserves his army every single time when he's going in. These 2 heavy tanks have been going in and out for at least 3 times. This small army has been sitting here for at least minute 5. And now he's going in again with a nice multi-prong. He's also going in with a ton of V2s to distract here. And that harvester almost died. Yunano once again going for a counter-offensive through the middle, but he reveals his position, going for that oil kill. Despro in the meantime on tier 3, producing shock troopers and Tesla tanks. Yeah, this is just insult to injury right here. Oh, he's going for the ref snipe. That works. A quick in and out. That's a quickie. This army is completely screwed. Very screwed. Oh yeah. Sheesh. Once again, look at that cheeky flame tower here behind the trees. Despero is using his environment really nicely. I like it. Yeah, I see he's up and running. Yonano knows it. And he surrenders in this first game. First game going to Despero. And we're going straight to game number 2. What version of CNC is this? Oh, this is OpenRA. You can find it on openra.net. By the way, hi RSG, how you doing, man? OpenRA is basically a custom engine made by a handful of developers that were a big fan of Tiberian Dawn and Red Alert, and they customized it completely. They're still staying authentic to the actual game, but they did a lot of balance changes, and you know, they changed a lot to like some of the units, the layout, the UI. This is pretty much how Red Alert would be like if it was made in, let's say, I think they started development in like 2014, 2015. So it feels like a modern RTS, but just, you know, with the universe of Command & Conquer Red Alert, pretty much. I'm good. I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm always a blast casting these games for most of my viewers. This is what I usually do if I'm not doing Street Fighter V. I've been doing this for almost 2 years. And yeah, this is actually the game that got me into commentating, and then I decided to use those commentating skills that I developed in the course of 2 years for Street Fighter V. And yeah, here we are. Alright, so we are in game number 2. We've got Yonano versus Despero yet again, but this time we have a Soviet mirror on our hands. Both players are playing Ukraine, and we're playing on Infestation, I think it's called, or Infection. Infection, yes, made by Whippy. Despero starting in the top right, and Yonano starting in the bottom left. I do business intel data analysis professionally. Can look into what data points the game is capturing or expand on those and give us more insights. Yeah, I think Triple TP does that as well. I think he has like a small algorithm program that with using that data actually determines which games that should be highlighted, like, you know, games that have a missile silo, for example, or like insane amounts of army value. He probably has something similar that you're suggesting. But yeah, I really love this map, to be honest. This is I think this one was part of the map contest last season for season 12, but unfortunately it didn't make it in. It didn't have enough points, so it's really cool to see it pop up in season 13. It's a very competitive map still, like there's nothing wrong with it at all, but I do like the PvE element added into it with the zombies, which is really cool. Eden Lake. Eden Lake is a really good map. I like that one as well. I think it was part in, what was it, season 10 or season 11? One of those. Anyways, fun fact. Last week we were reviewing one of Admiral Mo's games. And obviously, you know, sometimes I can get a little bit pissed off in like the mistakes they made or what they're doing. And a guy actually asked in the chat, who would win a match between me and Mo? And funnily enough, Triple TP commented on that, saying that the latter suggested that I would win 19 out of 20 games versus Mo. Thought that was pretty funny. Did Despero go double NG? We can see that. Yes, he actually did. He went for double NG. I don't think that's a bad strategy at all. There's a lot of oils on this map. They're also very separated as well, so I don't think that's a bad idea. Nice usage of the concave there, dealing with the zombies. And oh, I like that. I like that very cheeky rifleman up here in the corner. hidden in the shroud. And yeah, he's gonna give that engineer a very bad time. Meantime, both players playing very passive right now, just getting their neutral objectives. And not much of a clash we have seen so far. As you can see, the destroyed lost tab is actually really interesting because it also accounts the creeps that have been killed. Because you can see that the lost tab is really low between these two players. It probably says you win 99 out of 100. It might be. It all depends with ladder statistics. It probably, if you would compare me between Milkman, who's very active in the ladder, it would probably suggest that Milkman beats me a lot of the times as well. But I've played Milkman a lot of times, and I probably win like 75% of those games. But I probably believe that Milkman would kick my ass right now. I don't play this game at all anymore. I think the actual last game that I played was with Tux, when me and Tux were taking on Point 1 and Widow. But actually, when I was doing that game, I didn't feel like I was out of shape. We were actually doing really well. Moods lost to zombies the other day in this map. That's amazing. Yeah, this feels very PvE mode so far. Here's that second engineer, because obviously the other one lost its life. Yep, it did. So Despro's gonna steal that oils and hospital as well. So Despro actually in good control here in terms of neutral objective. Yunano will only have 2 oils, where Despro will have 4 in his possession. Good expansion from Yunano. He already has his harvesters with him for the eco slide. Refinery is ready as well. Very nice play. Not much income lost there. Despro doing the same thing, and he's immediately advancing towards the middle. Actually, I was about to say I really like this expansion. It's not bad. Like he can cut off the reinforcements from Yunano towards the oil, so he can capture that later. I thought he was going to initially set it up here, so he actually would have had access to this patch and this patch at the same time. But for now, it seems like he's going to shut down this small gap, so he can keep that safe. And he probably might expand later on backwards towards this expansion. I feel like this is one of those maps where moving out the main MCV it can be a bit tricky. I feel like especially Cav is one of those players. If you actually want to have a good idea when to move out your main MCV or not, you should have a look at Cav. I feel like Cav is pretty good at recognizing when that is a good idea to do or not. And this map is pretty big, so the chances of you being flanked in your main base are pretty big. So having your MCV around to still be able to make static defenses is a good thing. Yeah, Despro is really fortifying this position. Already 2 flame towers, a Tesla coil, a Rax, and a war factory. And this war factory is actually really huge, because this will allow him to reinforce his army with tanks really fast. It would also increase his production speed, and as Soviets, that is very, very desirable. Raider Dome from Yunano pretty early at minute 7. But actually he's already on 7 racks as well, so that means he got maximum production speed for his infantry. Very good. Yeah, Despero once again going for a small flank indeed, but like I said, even though it's small, this is strong. Like a heavy tank with 3 rockets can probably 2 to 2.5 shot a harvester. The 2 flamers in there will make it very dangerous against buildings as well. But this also looks very dangerous. This is a big army from Yunano that is definitely going to wipe the floor with Despro's army if they connect. However, there are a lot of flamethrowers in there, but unfortunately half of his army was getting caught. Despro is immediately going to retreat and be safe in his own base. He still preserves most of his army, which is pretty good. But yeah, here we have those two small army collisions. So far, Yunano not responding. He's too busy with this big concave. So the multi-pronging from Despero is definitely on point. Oh, but this is bad. That lake is so bad. Oh no. Yeah. That lake. Oh no. Nice reaction from Despero. Is gonna move away the harvesters. Yunano is gonna kill that refinery. That is still a big hit to cripple the economy from Despero. In the meantime, Yunano has finally reacted to a side. He's still in a good position. Look at that. More harvesters. He's harassing harvesters from 3 spots at the same time. And now he's gonna go for that Raider Dome. And look at the damage of just 2 flamethrowers adding up that quickly. So a harvester was taken out here too, actually, while there are defensive forces. A third one stopped working, and the Raider Dome has been killed. In the meantime, the only thing Yunano was able to do with that big army, so he had triple the amount of army going onto the offense, and the only thing it did was take out a refinery. Alright, here comes the V2 shots. Both of the V2 shots with refinery going down, but look at this sea of flames that Despero is sending over to this army. This army is getting cooked completely. Look at the concave as well. This is a perfect cleanup. And that was a very solid defense from Despero right there. In the meantime, like I said, Despero being able to preserve his army really well. One of his army is still alive, but it's finally getting chased down. Should lose their lives here. Yes, they will. But the amount of damage he did already was pretty significant. And at the same time, he also prevented Yunano from expanding faster. And now Despero is going to send over his main MCV. And I really do like that decision making, because he pretty much ended the threat that could, destroy his main base. So now he's in a pretty good position to take more ground. And now he's going to try and do the exact same thing that he did over here. So first you're going to fortify a nice expansion in the middle, shut this down. And then later on you want to expand over here as well to try and shut this down as well. And if Despero manages to do that, nice rest snipe hero by the way. If Despero manages to do that, then he has this complete map on lockdown in a way that Yunano will never get through without Despero being aware of it. Also, Despero went up to tier 3. He has a big army lead. He has tech advantage. My man is looking swell. So here we go. Once again, there's a big attack here, which is going to be this distraction. This is not key. Yes, this is going to do a lot of damage, but this small army might do the same thing. Funny enough, Despero just killed the yak over here. So this army actually was noticed by Yunano, but he was so busy looking over here that he sent his entire army away. And Despero managed to kill another harvester and cleaning up the expansion. Yunano calls the GG. This was very fluid gameplay from Despero. Nothing to be said about this at all in a negative way. This was crazy. What a performance. Despero takes it 2-0 over Yunano. Terminated. Yeah, this is what rusty Despero can do. Imagine if my man's on point, you can probably just forfeit the game. Unfortunately, I would have loved to see, talking about forfeits, we were just talking about it, that Dang unfortunately forfeited his games. But I would have loved to see him play against Despero. We got the opportunity to see him play against Blackened, and we got the opportunity to see him play against Cav, which were probably the 2 strongest players besides Despero for him in this division. But yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get to see that. Anyways, moving on.
Battle control initialized.
No, I don't think Dang did that on purpose, to be honest. I mean, Despero didn't do that on purpose. Regardless, we've got the big Hulk coming in on the right side of Greener Pastures, playing as France. And we've got Leaf, Private Leaf, in the bottom left, playing as England, so we got an allied mirror on our hands, and once again, we're playing on the map Greener Pastures, which is kind of crazy. This map is very popular. Definitely, most players would go double riff on this map, as a middle is very valuable to have. And that's exactly what both of these players are going to do. However, Leaf went for his engineer really fast compared to Hulk. So Hulk is going to use that to his advantage, and he's going to claim the hospital for himself, or at least the ground around it, which will make it really hard for Leaf to do anything about that. But no, it's going to push his luck. Defender's advantage will apply here, and Hulk might actually have a really bad time. But we'll have to see. Hey, what's up, Blacken? How you doing, man? Okay, very passive play so far from Leaf. He's actually being intimidated already, just chilling around his oil. Feels like he doesn't want to take any risks and go for that hospital. He's willing to give it up. Ooh, and that refinery was up for a long time. I think the Hulk at least won a good decent 20 seconds in terms of macro there. A little bit unfortunate. In the meantime, Hulk is gonna go for the corner oils. And I'm not sure if Leaf... I haven't seen Leaf play that much. I'm gonna take a quick sneak peek at the RGL scoreboard to see how many matches Leaf has played. Okay, Leaf has played all of his matches so far. I'm actually really... I wonder why he's not going for any other neutral objectives here. It also seems that Hulk was able to at least snipe 2 rockets on their way to reinforce this army. So that's a good pickup. But yeah, very passive play from Leaf so far. I think last time we saw Leaf was last week, him playing against Triple TP, which was going down in the books of history as the longest OpenRA match in history, probably. I think it came second, because I think the longest match in OpenRA history is probably going towards Barf versus ABC, which took an hour and 10 minutes, I think, or an hour and 20 minutes. I'm not sure. And I think it also has the game with the most nukes launched as well. I can't remember which season it was. It might be season 4 or season 5, anything like that. All right. Double light vehicle build from Leaf is gonna lose the Ranger, so it's gonna be one-on-one here. Light tank going down. This is good for Leaf, and Hulk is forced to retreat. Leaf should have chased for sure. Only 1 rocket alive, and he is going to go for the chase here. That rocket's going down, but that's a little bit overcommitment. I was afraid he was going to lose the light tank, but it's going to retreat. Good play from Leaf here, but now he should advance and try and go capture these other structures. He saw, because of the red cross symbol, that Hulk is in possession of the hospital, but instead he's just going to retreat back to main base. He's giving up a lot of map control, especially early on here, which is kind of crazy. Five mentioned there was a release where MCVs could go into pillboxes, and ABC just dragged the game by putting MCV into camo pillbox. Oh my god. Of course. Of course ABC did that. Alright, well, pretty late timing in terms of MCV from both players, but they did delay their MCVs a little bit by going extra racks before SD. and going for 2 light vehicles. Immediately expanding over there. I'm not sure if I actually like this immediate expansion. Because you're actually leaving your refinery fairly vulnerable by doing so. I feel like this might not be the map to do that. Unless you can lock down the middle first. Maybe get like a pillbox over here, maybe a racks over here. I'm not entirely sure. Unless if you're going to move out straight away again and put yourself up over here, then it's not a bad call to make. But you still want to have some scouts here in the middle to lock this down. But I feel like if you're going ref into ref, then you probably want to move out straight away as well and just take this one too. And then I would probably move out the main MCV as well and take this same position. But yeah, we can already see that Big Hulk is just a little bit more. He's taking the initiative. He's in control. And Leaf is actually way too passive. He's only on 2 expansions. If Hulk wanted to, like I said, he can take this other expansion as well with the main MCV. And that will make it really hard later on for Leaf to actually get anything going. No scouts here from Leaf, so that army is going to get by undetected straight into the main base. Luckily, Leaf has some army ready. But who is going to win this engagement? It seems like Leaf will be able to take it. More medium tanks, and he has defender's advantage. Obviously, with static defenses in the mix. So this army is going to be cleaned up by Leaf. Why the middle? Put the pressure on and they freeze? Well, the pressure didn't do much for you right there, except just losing army. But like I said, as long as Leaf is not going to be aggressive, then the middle is very dangerous because it is the perfect way to either go or to your expansion or straight to your main base. So you at least want to have some vision over the middle. That's why having the middle in this map is very important. Usually having the middle in a lot of maps is very important. But yeah, I don't really like this 2-base strategy from Leaf. He's going for a 3rd one. But this is a pretty big army from Hulk with a good amount of medium tanks as well. Most medium tanks are behind the infantry, but that doesn't matter because there were enough in front to protect him for the time being. But he's going to retreat due to the intimidation of the pillboxes. But here he goes, round 2. Going straight back in. He has enough medium tanks to go for crushers, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Triple pillbox here to help him out. Leaf is sending over reinforcements. That's a big amount of reinforcements. And Hulk lost a chunk of his army. So now Leaf should realize that he's in a really good position to make something happen here. It's 20k army value for Leaf versus 9k from Hulk. So the more passive Leaf is going to play, the easier it's going to be for Hulk to make a comeback and just rebuild everything that he lost. Yeah, once again, pretty solid defense here. Another turret. Turrets are always really good to have, especially against medium tanks. They can do some massive damage. Hulk is going in for a 3rd time. Finally, he's gonna get some pressure onto the harvester. Leaf should have pulled that harvester back, but unfortunately it did not work out. Hulk is gonna claim that as a victory and he's going to retreat yet again. But this time he has a harvester under his belt. And Hulk is gonna take this expansion with the main MCV as well. Yeah, still very big army advantage for Leaf, but he has to use it if he wants to win this game. He's not going to win this game if he's just gonna sit here and take an L. Alright, here we go. Triple medium tanks are getting melted. They're going down. But look at this concave, and Leaf is forced to give that up. And he has a really bad habit of... This is his bad habit. He always reinforces his army in the main base. Because like he had an army advantage, but it was just sitting in his main base for no reason, not helping out to defend this expansion, and that's why Hulk was able to take it over. I think Leaf just has a lack of scouting. Leaf actually does not know what Hulk is doing. And so Leaf also has this habit, like I said, he always reinforced into the main base because I believe he's just afraid of getting flanked in his main base every time. But that's because he doesn't have scouts that lead to his main base. But that also results in having army in a position where it is completely useless, and it could have been so much more helpful in different situations in different parts of the map. Whereas Hulk just keeps reinforcing onto one expansion. Look at this army here. Once again, this army has to come from the main base again, but it's gonna be too late. Big chunk of medics and rocket soldiers here. It should be enough to breach through. But Hulk doesn't want to take that risk. I can understand that. But at the same time, Leaf has to put up the pressure. Like, the only thing he's doing so far is defending. Whereas Hulk is just, you know, chilling. He's got triple war factory up and running. Max racks production. Leaf is on 6 racks and also 2 war factories. But his war factories once again are much further away. Alright, here we go. This is like round 5. You doing anything after RGL highlights? Yes, read the title. Alright, now with tier 2, Hulk is gonna destroy this army from Leaf. There's nothing he can do about it. RT pressure is ridiculous. Here comes a turret. It's a pretty good turret, but it's not gonna be enough. And look how much army once again that is sitting in the main base. If Hulk just decides to go in yet again, then this army would have been able to help out immensely. That, or like he could, like, this is what I said, if Leaf decided to just go through the middle straight to the main base, he would have eliminated the main base with just a small army. Oh, this is big. Triple pillbox. Tanks are behind the infantry. Hulk is gonna suffer some losses here. But 5 RTs in the back lines, doing massive damage as well. Oh, oh my god. Actual World War II artillery here. Gets destroyed. MCV has to go on the run. Should barely survive. Nope, not getting away from the medium tank here. And yeah, this is huge. This is huge. Because now Hulk will be knocking not on Heaven's door, but on Leaf's main base's door. With tier 2 under his control as well. Blackhawks coming in, massive RTs, triple war factory, so very fast medium tank production. And most of the map under his control as well. This is going to be rough, and Leaf knows it already, and he's going to throw in the towel and Hulk
Battle
takes the
control
first game.
terminated. Battle control initialized.
What does that have to do? Is it... No, it's something completely new. I know so far, I have checked it out, no one has ever done this so far. So it's gonna be... It's also going to be something interactive for the viewers. And I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be fun. I was planning to do an RGL edition, but then I realized most of the people would have seen those matches already. So I decided to pick matches from the ladder, so it's going to be a ladder edition this time around. And I could pretty much apply this to every single RGL season. Unfortunately, I believe that what's his name? Jazz used to have like a website where he had a storage where all of the older RGL seasons replays were stored, but that was taken down. So I'm not sure if there's actually any source where you can grab the replays from, like, let's say RGL season 2, 3, something like that. Twitch plays OpenRA matches, that would be kind of funny. But no. Alright, once again Hulk is gonna be aggressive, but this time he's gonna have a really bad time. Defender's advantage applies. Leaf with the chase. And that attack was denied. We're playing on Assault this time, and once again we've got an allied mirror on our hands. We've got Leaf in the top left and Hulk in the bottom right. We're going to play Black and sell RGL games for him. Yeah, we're gonna play Black, and we're gonna replace Blacken in the playoffs. He'll be happy with that. It's not like he would do any better if he does the same thing as last season. Yeah, I was just saying the same thing. This is amazing. You know. We're obviously joking. We all love Blacken in here. Okay. Well, once again, this is a very big map, so it's gonna take a little while before we're gonna see any spice going down. We already got a cheeky engineer over here. Are these tank traps destroyable? If so, if anyone wants to be a real pain in the ass, just, or even if you're allies, just chrono and MC. No, you can't chrono an MCV over here because you need to deploy it. If you can destroy the tank traps, just put an MCV over here and destroy the bridge. That would be hilarious. And just wait it out until they forfeit. I would probably leave my computer as well and just go watch Netflix or something. They're not destroyable? Aww. That's a shame. Well, this engineer's going on a camping trip. He's gonna have a little cozy time here. Waiting to strike at the perfect opportunity. You could just use air. You can! But would you actually bear to look at that if the bridge is destroyed? I don't know. I mean, at some point in time, you're probably going to be very desperate and you're gonna check every single pixel on this map. Oh yeah, GPS actually kind of screws that. That's true. Well, I guess it's a Soviet tactic only then. It could be worth a try. I think the only match we ever saw was the one with Lee versus Triple TP. That match took 50 minutes and it could have lasted even longer, but Leaf was just sick of the fact that it took so long. And he was like, yeah, fuck this, I'm out. I don't want to do this. I'm done. And Triple TP was like, oh. Okay, yeah, sure, GG, man. Fuck. How is that even possible? Oh, hello, what are we doing? Hello? Hello, what's going on? What's going on? That's... what? That's a very, very, very preemptive eco slide. that is going to result in less eco, to be fair. Points to Lee for actually being aware of his eco slide, but that he at least missed one payload of both of these harvesters, which kind of sucks. Hello, Leaf. Ah, he heard me. Perfect. Man, I was scared. Only Goat uses NG effectively? Pfft. That's not true. Have you watched the Minions finals of season 11? Mm-hmm. Managed to capture Gash's War Factory 2 out of 3 games. That was so funny, man. And I would have got the 3rd game as well, but I was unlucky because the medium tank came out of the War Factory when my NG arrived. If that didn't happen, I would have captured his War Factory every single game with my NG. Anyways, we got our first decent encounter here. It's definitely looking like this one is going to leave. Medium tanks are out of position, but rocket count seems better for a Hulk, but those medium tanks are going to go down. Then defender's advantage is going to apply. Good concave though, and the medic is helping out as well, but unfortunately, quantity over quality. Leaf wins that engagement. Yeah, I can see that this match could result in a stalemate. It's gonna take a while before Leaf is going to expand. If Hulk would have recognized that last game as well, if he watched the replay, I'm not sure if he did watch the replay or they went straight into game number 2. But Hulk, you could potentially shut this down as well and deny Leaf from getting that expansion later on. Anyway, this army is still there. Hulk is gonna scout it out, but he did see it because he moved the medium tank away. But I was about to say his eco is in trouble, but no, Leaf is just gonna, what? He's gonna chase that medium tank and walk straight into an actual fortified expansion. He could have just taken out this refinery with potentially some harvesters. But now he has to go on the run. Very poor decision making, and yet again he has so much army just sitting in his main base, not doing much at all. There we go. This time he's going straight for it. Yeah, this is good from Leaf, finally taking initiative here. He's also on tier 2 as well, which we didn't see that fast from him last time. It seems like he's feeling confident. But this time he's not going to be distracted. Hulk is gonna, he knows already that this refinery has to be sacrificed. He can't save it in time. He's gonna pull the harvesters back, which is really good. But now Hulk is gonna go on a counterplay onto the main base. Potentially he could really do some really good damage, but this RT might do some good damage as well. Unfortunately, it is on attack move, but it's gonna work out for now because the tanks are not in his range. But unfortunately, it didn't do that much, to be fair. But Hulk is gonna claim that as some sort of a W. But nice strategy from Leaf. He saw that the army was in his main base, realized that there wouldn't be a lot of defenses in Hulk's main base, and Leaf is gonna wipe the floor with this main base. This is a big chunk of army. Nothing that Hulk can do about this. 22k as well for Leaf, 12k for Hulk. His eco has been completely crippled. And yeah, pretty good defense from Leaf here, I have to say. Oh, whoops. still, this is a pretty strong army that Hulk has. Okay. Very ballsy. Sometimes you have to be ballsy. That's gonna be a very good pillbox. Gonna be able to take out all of these rockets and medics. Unfortunately, it wasn't microed and not being repaired. RTs are gonna do immense damage here. Look at that first shot, already so crucial and brutal. We decided to turn around with the RT. That definitely didn't work out. Where's the army from the main base? Oh, it's just chilling over here for some reason. Yeah, this is what I mean. He moved his entire army over to the bottom left, assuming that there was an expansion, which could have been easily solved if he just made a rifle over here and looked over there. And now he did lose a lot of time. But yeah, if he came from this angle as well, he could have denied this potential expansion from Hulk. Now he's giving Hulk the opportunity to get some more eco. Regardless, this is a pretty good angle to attack from. In this way, Leaf will make it so that his main base is a little bit more safe. He's using Defender's advantage as well. He's got the vision advantage. He's got 2 army support. He's got a big army coming in once again. And Hulk is down on 3k army with probably not that much eco left. Floating 3k cash though. Well, here we go. We're going to see a barf move from Leaf. And good luck stopping that. Really fast game from Leaf here, actually. Medium tanks are going to go after the MCV, but he should probably just finish off this entire base. And eventually Hulk will throw in the towel. Yeah, he can't escape from medium tanks. And Hulk realizes it and he's gonna call the GG. So Leaf ties it up 1-1.
Terminated.
That was a very exciting set. So now we're gonna skip Hulk versus Chuchani for now, and we're gonna go over to, I think this was the best match of the week. So we're gonna go with Andrew versus Duke Bones first, then we're gonna go over to Hulk versus Chuchani, and then we're gonna close it off with Blackett versus Cav. And then we've got one more replay that has been sent to me by Widow himself, and it's gonna be Nubix versus Widow. So I'm hoping that's gonna be a crazy match, otherwise I feel bamboozled. But yeah, that's only for later. So we're gonna go over to Andrew versus Duke Bones, and once again we're going to Sompio. This is the second time that I've seen Sompio in one of Andrew's matches, so it might be an Andrew pick. Not entirely sure, but he's up against Duke Bones, who spawns in the top right. Both are playing on with Ukraine. Andrew is in the bottom left, and actually Duke Bones has been doing surprisingly well. I actually thought he was going to struggle, but he's had some very entertaining games, and he was part of the highlights reels a couple of times actually. And yeah, he actually played a lot of his matches already. I think he only has to play Daughter. Yeah, that's it. Seems like Duke Bones is doing pretty well in terms of completing his matches. He only has to play Daughter, and then he has completed all of those. Yeah, he's up against Andrew, probably the oldest RGL player in the OpenRA scene. Not in terms of his actual age, but due to the fact that this man has been around since... I'm actually not quite sure. Probably the first season? He's been playing RGL when most of you guys were still laying in a crib, sucking on your thumb. And then this man was already doing build orders and shit. It's crazy. Alright, well, another Masters match. Jukebone's actually going War Factory first. Not a bad choice. Andrew is doing the exact same thing. This is a very, very large map. Actually trying to counter War Factory first with a double ref build is, I wouldn't say impossible. Definitely doable. Especially if you're playing Soviets. Going for a Grand Rush is something that could have happened. But no, both players are gonna take it slow, gonna take it passive. The only difference right now is that Andrew went straight for an extra harvester, whereas Duke Bones went for a light field. He's gonna go for the flak, and that will most likely gain him control over this oil if he wanted to. Cheeky scout here as well. Where is Andrew's NG? Ah. Setting himself up to... Oh, wait, hello. Hang on. Oh, that is so cheeky. That is so cheeky. Dan is cheap. Dan is a god, man. Dan is anything but cheap. He's probably expensive as fuck, because I assume applying for his dojo is gonna cost you a fortune. The only thing that I can say is it's probably not worth applying for a dojo like that. How you doing, Crystal? Just good to see you, man. Bro, this NG's gonna get fucked. I really like that rifle from Duke once. I'm assuming he actually put that rifle there because probably in the past his oil has been stolen a lot because of this waypoint. But yeah, like I predicted, Duke Bones is gonna steal this oil for himself. And... yep. There we go. Is this remastered? No, actually it's not. It's a custom... it's actually a custom engine made by a couple of Command & Conquer fans that wanted the Red Alert game and Tiberian Dawn game to run on a new engine, actually. With it pretty much plays of... it's an RTS with today's standards, pretty much. Lots of balance adjustments, new units to balance the game a little bit more. Street Fighter stream. Yeah, I mean, you know what the thing is? A lot of people that play Street Fighter 5 most likely played Street Fighter 4. Most likely played, you know, Street Fighter 3 and Super Turbo and all the older Street Fighters. So they're most likely my age as well. Except for like the newer generation that has only played Street Fighter 5. But that means most people that have played Super Turbo also means that they have played games like Command & Conquer and Age of Empires and stuff like that as well. So, you know, eventually people will be attracted to that. And I have always said that I feel like Street Fighter and RTS games, or like fighting games and RTS games, are actually very similar in terms of decision making. Like the mental aspect between fighting games and RTS games is very similar. Oof. Yeah, that's gonna be a really good defense for Andrew here. With the help of the flame tower as well, it takes out the last armor. And that means he can breach through and go for the chase, take out these units. Yeah, we've got a very similar situation here between these two players. Andrew is in the lead in terms of army value right now. He's got 13.5k versus 10k from Duke Bones. He is a little bit faster in terms of expanding as well. Well, it's the second time I pressed that pause button. Your comment is fire, bro. I appreciate it, man. I've been getting a lot of kind words from the Street Fighter community as well. And I've been given a lot of opportunities. Hopefully someday the dream is gonna be that I could be sitting on a couch and actually commentate an offline event. That would be amazing. And then maybe someday we will be sponsored to fly to America, for example, and commentate like Evolution or something like that. That's the dream. That's the goal. Maybe next year. Who knows? Oh, Andrew is getting a little hot feet over here. He's getting out. Hey, Hulk, I appreciate that, man. I still do. Ooh! You purchased CNC Remastered last week? That's good. CNC Remasters is perfect if you want to play the campaign. You know, you still want to have that authentic feeling to it with the remastered graphics. Campaign is really good because we have implemented the campaign as well, but not completely, because we have to manually implement everything new because it's a different engine. But for the campaign, it's perfect. If you want to get into multiplayer, then I would definitely recommend OpenRA because it's a lot more balanced than the original game. And the original game is just tank spam. That's all it is. I'll fly you. I would appreciate that, man. That would be super nice. Talking about flying, there's a big chance that Bane is gonna come over to my place somewhere next year. Most likely in January. So that means we're gonna do an OpenRA stream together. But you know, just actually being next to each other, and that's kind of funny. Anyways, Andrew's gonna push here, but there's a Tesla Claw. I'm not sure if he wants to do that. Also, this is so hard to cross. I think there's only 3 cells that you can pass through this river. So having units like flame towers and flamethrowers are super valuable here on these small paths. Duke Bones is gonna go for the chase. I'm not sure that's a good idea. He does have the soaking advantage. He has 3 tanks. He's gonna be able to take a good trade, but in the meantime, Andrew is also luring from the top as well, looking around. He can probably do a lot of damage, but killing that oil gave his cover away. And yeah, lots of activity going on actually. We've got a handful of armies from both players scattered across here and there. A single rifleman is killing a power plant? What the fuck? That's amazing. Anyways, Duke Bone's still going for the chase. Army values are fairly close, but this is very cheeky as well. Just stealing that ore away from Duke Bones, and that Tesla Coil is gonna prevent those rocket soldiers harassing. Oh, okay, it's taking harvesters as a priority, and Andrew is not paying attention to that. Now he is. But he's losing harvesters as well because of these rocket soldiers. He's gonna need an extra flame tower to do so. In the meantime, this rifle is going to go on to the second power plant. We've got an eco harassment over here at the expansion. And Andrew's forces have been scattered across immensely. He's gonna put pressure onto the expansion here. They're trading blows between each other. This is ridiculous. There's almost no defending going on from both players. They're just trying to be as offensive as possible. Duke Bones is going to claim this expansion for himself. Andrew has wiped the expansion over here. MCV did manage to escape. In the meantime, Duke Bones cleaned up the base expansion from Andrew. So overall, I think that Andrew is actually in a rough spot. He does have the army advantage, but it seems like he has no MCV and he has no expansion. Whereas Duke Bones still has an expansion, still has harvesters working, he still has 2 MCVs, so he can expand a lot faster and rebuild his eco. Whereas Andrew is gonna struggle like hell. And this is probably the turning point in this entire match, because so far Andrew was in the lead. But yeah, a couple of really good, efficient blows from Duke Bones have turned this around completely. This is going to be a good harassment. That harvester is going to go down. And talking about harvesters, let's look at the count. We've got 9 harvesters for Andrew and only 4 for Duke Bones. However, those 9 harvesters are all chilling in the main base, grabbing nothing at all. So here we go, another good harassment here. Potentially you can get some more harvesters. But The rocket soldiers are a little bit on the late side. That harvester is definitely going to go down. And Jukebones doesn't seem to have the defense he needs to stop this attack. Here comes the second army that was dealing damage to the expansion earlier on. And this main base is gonna collapse. This is gonna go down. Jukebones is gonna send everything over that he has to defend. Wait, Andrew's actually backing off. That's crazy. That little bit of hesitation there is gonna make it so that Jukebones can defend this. And even though there's not much left, his key structures are still there. Harvester's gonna be spotted though with the MCV. Very smart from Andrew because he realized that harvesters were being eco-slid to that ore patch. But so far they're being very friendly neighbors. Not doing damage to the MCV, giving Jukebones the time he needs to deal damage. In the meantime, Jukebones has arrived to the main MCV, main base as well. That's a very big rocket count. More rockets than rifles in that army. He's gonna wipe the floor with this entire main base in a matter of seconds. Look at that war factory going down. This is the melt squad. Yeah, war factory NSD have been taken out. No more tank production for Anju. Jukebones seeing that massive army, so he moves down south. Is gonna do a little bit more damage before retreating completely. Took out an extra power plant and a harvester as well. Anju's still having a little bit of forces here, and he took out a harvester. So Anju is still doing really good damage, but the fact he's still not able to expand. The good thing is he managed to get out an MCV before his war factory and SD got destroyed. That was crucial, because if those buildings were destroyed before he had an MCV up and running, then this game would have been over already. But Jukebones somehow, it's a little bit messy, a little bit chaotic, but Jukebones seems to be in control for now. His army is really out of position though. Here's another attack onto the expansion. This is a very crucial expansion for Jukebones because he decided to rebuild his economy on this side, which is actually kind of questionable because most of his presence was on the right side of the map. Granted, he managed to place a refinery down here as well. So actually, Jukebones is looking really good, but he just lost 3 harvesters here on this side, and that's a big deal. Flame Tower got some decent value as well. Let's see what Jukebones is going to do. He's going to go straight over to this expansion. Look how fast they mined that out, just because Anju has so many harvesters. Peek something to eat. Catch you later. Hey, thanks for dropping by, man. Hope we see you someday in OpenRA. But for now, thanks for dropping by and have a good day. And right now we're going to continue. Drop Dan? I will never drop Dan, man. If he's in Street Fighter 6, I'm gonna pick him up immediately. But I doubt that's gonna happen. Anyways, this is a big army from Jukebones. And he's going straight for the main base. If he arrives in full force, he's gonna wipe the floor with what remains of Anju's main base. Gonna send over harvesters as well, but they're just going to be deleted from existence. And not much that Anju can do about this. His forces are still scattered. Once again, Anju has been doing a fantastic job with eco harassing, and he has denied a lot of eco from Jukebones with the armies that he had. But he has lost all of his production buildings, and he's down to refs and PPs. Dan is love, Dan is life, exactly. Blacken gets it, and he's an OpenRA player. It's actually crazy. I think that was Duke's last harvester? Yes, you're completely right. He's down to 0 harvesters. So it all comes down to Jukebones, to this army from Jukebones. He has little to no cash in the bank either. So he's going to need to sell some stuff if he wants to rebuild his refineries. Harvesters are being pulled from Anju. That last one managed to get a cell full of infantry before going down. But unfortunately, Anju knows what time it is. It's time to call the GG. And Jukebones takes the first game versus Anju.
Battle control terminated.
Very close game, actually. If Anju managed to hold that off, it would have been a completely different game. Now we're going to move on to game number 2, which is also being played on Assault. That's crazy. This map is okay. Like I said, it doesn't feel like a great map, but at the same time, it feels like it's a map that is... it can get very still real quickly. And I don't know, I wouldn't... If I was playing in this season, I would probably never pick this map. Usually if I see people throwing away their harvesters, it's most likely not looking great for you. Oh, but look at this, man. It seems we are able to play a game in the background while waiting, because both players went for a rack skip build. We got some greedy SOBs in here tonight. We've seen it from Anju a lot of times. Anju has been a TD player as well. It's very common to do that. So it's gonna take a while before we have some action going on. So yeah, we're almost at the end. We have one more set between Hulk and I believe Chuchani. And then we have the Masters match of the week, which is going to be Blackened versus Cav. And then after that, we have a replay from Widow at our disposal. And after that, we're going to start the OpenRA, the new series. I don't have a name for it yet. So if anyone can come up with a good name when we actually see the mode going live, I would love to hear your guys' suggestions. Because obviously I need a title for it for YouTube. Anyways, it seems like Jukebones is gonna go for some cheeky light tank build, whereas Anju is going full greed mode, and he's going for PP Ref War Factory Ref, and that's gonna be PP into racks probably. Yes. Because this is a very greedy build, but it allows you... This is probably the fastest way to spam infantry, because by the time your racks comes out, you're already on 4 harvesters. Caution. Alright, triple light tank. This could potentially be really good. But... I wouldn't say this is not an all-in move, but look at that. Like, he already has to put his war factory on hold because of the investment that he made. So these 3 light tanks have some work to do. Granted, so far no rocket soldiers to be seen, which means there is a possibility that he can take out all the power plants. But that means Jukebones has to act now. You have to realize if you go rack skip into 3 light tanks straight away, then that means you have a big advantage. You have the lead. You have to go in. And don't waste your time on APCs. Just go for those power plants straight away. That's the only thing you deal damage to. Anju is smart. He's gonna move away his rifles because he knows that his rifles don't do anything against those. Gonna take out an APC as well, and now he's gonna focus on the second power plant. Anju is already low power. That Tesla coil is being built. 40 seconds left, but even if it comes out, there's nothing he can do about it. Oh, barely keeps that light tank alive. Now he's gonna do damage to the war factory, but that's not gonna do much. War factory is concrete armor, and light tanks are only pretty significant against wooden armor structures, which is, as far as I know, that's only the power plant. But then again, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously nobody builds silos, but I'm not sure what armor type silos are, but I'm assuming they're concrete. Light tanks need a buff. It has been a debate, but I'm not sure. I'm not in the light tanks need a buff camp. All structures are wood? Really? I thought some of the structures were concrete. Power plants just have shit health. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't feel like light tanks need a buff. It becomes really dangerous because if you buff them too much, they might be able to replace medium tanks. And then there's no reason to go SD. Then that means going for like, I don't know, like skipping SD and just going for like mass light tank build with infantry early on might be really strong. Oh, that's a very expensive rocket drop, but he loses 2 rockets and didn't manage to kill a harvester, and these 3 light tanks are blocking his path. The APC, oh, the APC doesn't get away. He was being slowed by the ore on the ground, enough for the light tanks to catch up and kill him, losing the 3 rockets that remained inside as well. Damn, that was a big investment from Anju that eventually led to nothing. And now Dukebones is actually in a pretty good position. He has a very strong army with those 3 light tanks still being able to do some harassing, or they could go for some really good crushes if these 2 armies decide to collide with each other. But for now, for the time being, Dukebones is gonna attack from the same angle yet again. He could once again get a lot of power plants with these 3 light tanks, especially if he's going to distract Anju with this attack. But it's been mistimed a little bit. Yep, here's those light tanks again. He's going for the SD this time. He actually might get it. If he decides to sacrifice his light tank, if he puts his light tanks on, yeah, he's gonna do it. He put the light tank on the SD so that the first shot of the heavy tank and the first shot of this rocket actually damaged the SD. And that was enough for Dukebones to take it out. But at the same time, he kept all his 3 light tanks safe. Very good harassment. That means Anju is forced to go back to APCs, but he did a really fast job with that because the first APC already came out of the war factory after losing the SD. But yeah, Dukebones is looking good. He's up an extra expansion. He's putting up the pressure against Anju. Anju is only sitting in his main base pretty much, and Dukebones is in full control. Anju is way too scared to move out for the time being. He sees the light tanks yet again. This time they're attacking from a different angle. And even though they're not doing that much damage to the harvester, they are forcing it off the ore patch. Meantime, another harassment here takes out a harvester. But this time, yeah, if you're not gonna... Oh my god, this is what happens if you're using move command while there's APCs next to you that are getting crushed. Because normally OpenRA is designed that your units will go out of the way automatically, but that only applies if you're doing if you're standing still, or if you're doing attack move, if you're shooting at the unit that is trying to crush you. But if you're ordering a move command, then that move command takes priority over the auto dodge system, and then you're gonna have a really bad time. But Anju's patience has ran out. This man has enough. He is going in and he's gonna claim this expansion pretty much for free. But Dukebones is arriving in the main base as well. These 2 light tanks are yet again present, taking out a harvester this time. Another harvester drops. And yeah, even if this attack from Anju is going to take out this expansion, Dukebones can recover. He can reinforce his main base, prevent damage from being done. But Dukebones needs to initialize a kill command here. There we go. APCs once again going in for the crushes. Oh my god, they're getting so many disgusting crushes. But yeah, the damage has been done, and it's significant damage as well. Anju did have a second War Factory. But yeah, Duke Bones managed to, like I said, reinforce his main base. He's gonna look for that army, and he has to realize that it's still somewhere lingering over here because his expansion in the bottom never got attacked. So if I were Duke Bones, you have to realize the army either retreated or it's moving over to your main base on the left side. Alright, here we go, new attack from Anju. He realized that Duke Bones has expanded really fast, and this expansion in the top right has been sitting here for quite some time, making it almost impossible for Anju to take that. But yeah, this is what I said. Most likely that army is gonna go to the main base, and Duke Bones was not aware. In fact, he sent his entire army back to the main base. I do not like that. If there is a way to throw this game, then this is the way to do it. Oh, but this RT might be good, but the heavy tank's going in for the chase. And now Duke Bones is actually going to lose his entire main base here, which could have been prevented if he played a little bit more defensive. Because Anju pretty much lost his entire main base already. It doesn't really matter for him. Anju has a really good defensive force, granted. So many APCs yet again, but this time the rocket density is just way too much, and all the APCs are getting killed. Medics are on the field as well, and that RT is doing massive damage, and Anju is gonna surrender regardless. He knew that even though he could finish the main base, he wasn't able to take out the entire map control that Duke Bones has already established. Well played to Duke Bones, taking it 2-0 over Anju.
Terminated.
You love to see it. Now we're moving on to Hulk versus Chuchani, and after that we've got Blackened versus Cav. And after that we've got Widow versus Ix. So make sure you got your blankets and your pillows when we're gonna watch this match, because there's a big chance we're gonna fall asleep. But Widow promised me otherwise, so even though I'm just, you know, talking about some meme stuff, because it's very well known that both Widow and Noob Ix are team players and they can play very turtle heavy style. You know, he said it was a very exciting game. So instead of getting your blankets and your pillows, we might have to get our popcorn instead. In the meantime, we're getting ready. It's Chuchani on the right side. Now, Chuchani is a player that we have to give a little shout out, because so far, I'm not sure about this match, but so far this man has lost all of his games. And he also lost all of his games in the previous season. Chuchani started playing around season 12. I think he picked up this game a week before season 12 kicked off. And like, shoutouts to him for actually participating in RGL to increase the player count. But he's been trying his best to improve, and his improvements are definitely visible this season. He has improved a ton. But unfortunately, so far it hasn't been enough yet. But I have to give a shout out to him for his persistence to keep pushing. And if he's going to watch this stream and eventually the YouTube video about it, never give up, man. Because I can definitely tell that you've improved a lot, and it's only gonna get better from here on out. And so far, oh no, the dog was not, what the fuck? The dog was not on hold fire, resulting in the dog actually attacking. But I was about to say, Chuchani very strong here in the early game, taking it out over Hulk. Are Widow's promises worth anything though? That's a very good question, and I cannot answer that. I actually cannot. If Widow and X don't trade main bases twice, it will be upsetty spaghetti. That is a good point. But like Duppin said, wouldn't that require them for leaving their bases? Kinda true. It only takes 20 minutes, so that means either of them actually eventually moved out of their base, or Widow did a base push. Hands down, I think we're gonna see Widow do a base push with RTs and you know, AA guns and stuff like that. Or Noob X is gonna end the game with a massive flank that started from minute 10 to go towards Widow's main base, and it arrived at minute 20. That's also a possibility. Alright, well, so far I've been liking his build. The only thing that I see so far that he has been, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much ore growth we have missed already, because I think the placement from Chuchani is still fine. I like his War Factory placement as well. It's good to reinforce harvesters as quickly as possible to the ore patch. And Hulk is gonna go for the War Factory placement for the most ideal MCV. Nice usage of the Ranger there to snipe all of these infantry. And this is really poor because Chuchani just lost all of his rockets there. The Ranger's now gonna snipe the NG. Oh, it's getting a little bit too much for Chuchani. He's being overwhelmed with everything that's going down. And that's a big loss. He lost most of his double riff army. He lost the dog. That's his third dog as well. So that's a big investment. And he lost his engineer. And so now he actually doesn't have anything to deal with this light tank. He also went for the flak truck, which is a very easy prey for the light tank. Yeah, you know, Chuchani seems like he's in a place where everyone has been there, you know, like you pretty much got your build order down. But now it's just about having to adapt about what's going on, what kind of player you're playing, and just like BD said, getting that game sense, realizing what's actually going on the screen. Because it seems like he actually has his basics down. The only thing that I can say right now is he should most likely sell the kennel, and he needs one extra harvester over here. Besides that, his build order is looking really good. His MCV timing is good. He's faster than Chuchani than Hulk so far, but Hulk is going for he went for the double light vehicle build, so obviously Chuchani is gonna have a faster MCV timing. So yeah, so far looking Gucci. And this is not the first time that Chuchani made it into the highlights, so you know, even though he considers himself not the greatest, and his results show for that as well, but making it into the highlights twice is an achievement on its own as well. Alright, well, Hulk is pressing his assault slowly but surely. He's gonna go in with the light tank. The flak truck might be caught off guard here, but first it's targeting the rifles. That's actually lucky for him. Rockets may now deal with the light tank. Yep. This is good for Chuchani. But he should have gone in with he should have chased this army down with the flak truck and these rifles. Flak truck has a lot of splash damage, so it will force more than one unit to go prone. And because of that, he might have been able to kill off a lot of units if he went for the chase. But he's gonna play it passive for now. Can't blame him. Army values are fairly similar. He had a rifle scout over here, it seems, so he knows exactly what's going on, which is good. Points for that. But Hulk aware, so he's a little bit hesitant. Yeah, he doesn't want to go in because he saw the scouts. So this is that mental aspect about this game. And I like this from Chuchani. There's not a lot of people that do that. So actually Chuchani sent over a scout to see if Hulk continued his attack where the scout got killed earlier over here. And he sent over a scout to check if the army actually retreated. And it did. But now we see no reaction from Chuchani, but he got two flame towers ready to go. One of them is going to be in a pretty good position to do some damage. And Chuchani should be able to prevent any damage to his main base, except for losing the static defenses. But now he can go in with the chase and finish off this army. Yeah, pretty good. Good defense so far. I like it. However, in the meantime though, Hulk has been very aggressive with his MCVs. and he's taking a lot more ground very quickly. Chuchani should do the same thing, but besides scouting around his main base, he's not doing that much scouting in general. He has no idea what's going on in the rest of the map. He has no idea if there's anything there. He's gonna send a rifle over there, which I really like. He has no idea what the main base looks like, anything like that. But for now, he's going tier 2. First V2 is entering the battlefield. He sees the army from Hulk because of the oil, so he has a good idea of where to strike. Hulk saw the V2 rocket. He was like, oh, hell no. Alright, here's the expansion from Chuchani, but he needs to be careful. He needs to rotate with his army. That might be his downfall. If he sticks in his base, he needs to do some more scouting like he did earlier, because this time the attack from Hulk is gonna be very efficient. So this is that game sense that BD was talking about. And this costs him 2 harvesters already. I like the fact that he was pretty quick pulling those harvesters away. He's going to be able to preserve 2 harvesters. Oh, trying to go for a counterattack here, but he runs straight into a pillbox. He's gonna send over his army to defend, but the damage has already been done. Granted, he might stand a chance here if he was defending his flame towers as well. So let's see. Still might be possible, but it's 5 medium tanks assisting Hulk's army. Oh, we see some flamethrowers in the mix as well. I like it. MCV is being targeted straight away. And Chuchani, it seems like Chuchani actually stopped chasing the army with his main army. Ooh, that was a really good V2 shot. The army is going to be cleaned up, but a lot of damage has been done. The MCV has been taken out. The expansion has been taken out. A couple of harvesters went down. The 2 harvesters that he preserved, he sent them over here in the hopes he could build a new refinery, but unfortunately that MCV was taken out before doing so. So the eco has been crippled immensely, and his main base has been left abandoned. And now Hulk has free reign in the main base as well. So yeah, this has all been mainly that game sense that we were talking about earlier. Chuchani is gonna go for a big counterattack to the main base. Fortunately, he's gonna lose his V2 to a pillbox. He's going to be able to deal some massive damage, but in the end, he's way too far behind. He has no MCV left, I believe. Oh, he actually did. He managed to save it, but his entire main base got cleaned up. He lost his expansions. He lost his second MCV. Still a very clutch game, actually. But Hulk has the eco advantage, and that's gonna cut it. That is gonna do it. That's gonna make the difference. Talking about eco, let's have a look at the graphs in the meantime. So Hulk has been having a big peak. Downward spike because of losing the main base, but Hulk has a chance to rebuild, whereas those chances for Chuchani are very slim. Army values have actually been fairly even throughout this entire match. Alright, here is where the armies are going to collide. Oh, the MCV got spotted. I do like this from Chuchani, escorting his MCV to safety. But like I said, he's too far behind. Hulk's refinery is ready. If he places it down over here, he's gonna have an immense eco for the time being. Okay. And with still keeping this MCV alive, meaning he's on 2 MCVs. So, yeah. Hulk should be in a good position. Probably wants to build 2 refineries actually, because there's gonna be a big traffic jam with just 1 refinery. Making an extra one would increase his eco so much. It happens at least once a stream, but there's always a TD song that comes on that I catch myself just grooving to. Even though, like, this music is timeless, man. Timeless and priceless. There's always, like, a good song. Like, even myself, I catch myself a couple of times while, even during casting, I'm like, oh shit, this is amazing. And then, you know, I'll be sitting there like, and then I'm like, oh shit, I'm not talking. I'm getting distracted. Alright, here comes that big attack, but Hulk has abandoned his base to look for more ruins and leftovers from Chuchani's base, not realizing that Chuchani is on the left side trying to rebuild. But I believe he has an eco problem that he cannot solve. He needed to sell all his remaining buildings if he wanted to build that refinery quickly. But now he's gonna destroy this entire base as well. Hulk is gonna be smart. He's gonna sell it off instead, preserving his money a little bit, getting a little bit of cash back so he can rebuild. Move command, never use move command unless you want to retreat. That's the only reason you use move command. What is this, man? Still, I would say that, yeah, Hulk is gonna win this for sure. Seems like at least Hulk is having a good time, which is always important, even during RHL. It's all for funsies. Gonna check out the main base. That was potentially his own main base, so Hulk is assuming that they switched places, and he hasn't looked in this particular spot yet. Yeah, this is kind of funny. They're both just rebuilding. Look at all this ore, and look at all this ore over here scattered across, resulting from harvesters being killed a while earlier ago. Big green army on the move. Eventually they will find the expansion, and when that happens, it is game over for Chuchani in this first game. Oh no. Oh my god. What song is this even? Oh, this is Die, okay. Even though I've been listening to these songs like plenty of times, sometimes I still can't remember which is which. Alright, it seems like Hulk has finally found the hidden spot of Chuchani, and he's gonna steam wall his way through here. Oof. Yeah, this is really nice. Look at this big chunk of army just waltzing his way through here. Chichani realizes nothing that he can do about it, calls the GG, and Hulk is gonna take the first game over
Battle
Chichani.
control terminated.
Where's my favorite TD song? Oh, this I really like this one, man. Like March to Doom is really good. I really like that one. But yeah, like in general, I would say that Tiberian Dawn has a bit more memorable soundtracks than RA, even though RA has really great ones as well. The only thing that I do really like that Frank Klepacki pulled off really nicely is that managing to make such a huge difference between all the three soundtracks. Like, if you listen to a TD song, you can immediately tell it's TD. Same goes for RA, but also the same goes for Tiberian Sun. Like when you put on a Tiberian Sun song, you can immediately tell like, yep, that's Tiberian Sun. And you can immediately get those futuristic vibes from Tiberian Sun as well. I really like that. The fact that you can do that with music is actually just amazing. I really like the keyboards in the background here. I think it's keyboard. Probably is. Anyways, we're here at game number 2 between Chichani and the Hulk, and we're fighting on Pity Light. Map made by Widow. TD feels like syncs more with the game than RA did. I can see why, but at the same time I feel like maybe it has to do with the universe as well, because like even though RA is kind of great, it's just like it's like a Cold War clone, you know. It's like the story is it's like me, it's fine. You don't really care. I mean, I don't really care. But the storyline from TD, the Tiberian universe, is way cooler to me, and maybe for that reason, how should I say this? I remember when I was playing Tiberian Sun when I was about 9 years old, I think, and even though my English at the time was crap to non-existent, pretty much the same how it is now, almost no difference. I still felt connected somehow to the universe. Like I could tell that Nod was seen as the bad guys, even though when I was 9. So I felt like I was playing these heroic GDI forces trying to repel Nod from taking over the world. And the music did a really good job adding to that. But Tiberian Sun also felt really mysterious in a couple of their missions. And especially when I was 9, like the music added to that mystery as well. Like a desolated land completely ruined by Tiberium and the war between GDI and Nod. And then that soundtrack on top, looking at all the abandoned cities, abandoned structures, no population at all, just two forces duking it out in a completely destroyed land. I don't know, I think Tiberian Sun was really cool. I think it's mainly because I have more affinity with Tiberian Sun because I was really young when TD and RA came out. I was about 5 or 6. And the most things that I learned or saw from Red Alert were because of my dad. My dad played Red Alert. Alright, so far nothing has happened, or not much has happened. Chichani once again had a really good, strong early game with his dog. Manages to take 2 oils, and he actually used the engineer to repair this oil. I really like that. Not much value to be had regardless, unless you want to capture a building later on. Space punk vibes. I guess. But even then, the storyline once again for Tiberian Sun was really good. And then when Cabal went rogue in the expansion, you know, fantastic. I'm assuming they had a little bit of an inspiration maybe coming from Terminator, because don't forget, I believe Terminator 2 came out like Judgment Day. I think it came out close to where Tiberian Sun was released. I'm actually not entirely sure. I'm actually kind of curious. Let me just look that up real quick, because they might have been inspired. It came out in 1991, so it could be true that the development team from Westwood got some inspiration from Terminator, like, you know, an AI going rogue, taking control of cyborgs and, you know, machinery and shit. So when did Terminator 3 come out? Because Terminator 3 is probably like the one, 2003. Okay, fair enough. My dad put me on RA when I was 10. You found OpenRA in 2021. Yeah, I found it in 2020, I believe. And then I got forced by Bane to do commentary, because Five Aces was about to not really leave the scene, but he did do it a lot less, and we just lost So Scared as well. And then Bane was like, yo, you should try it. You should try to do some commentary. I was like, I don't know, man. It's gonna suck ass. And it did. It did suck ass. It was so bad. If I look at my first OpenRA video on my YouTube channel, that cost, it was just some guy versus Bane. Fucking god awful. It's like listening to a fucking farmer that is talking about, that is giving a tour in a freaking factory. No knowledge at all. You know, it would be like a fucking, an Amish guy giving a tour in a Tesla factory. That's what it would be like. That was my first YouTube cast. Oh. But eventually we learned. Yeah, the Harkonnen soundtrack is also really, really good. I think it was made by David Arkenstone. If someone could make a farmer giving a tour in a factory entertaining, I put my money on caution. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it a lot. Yeah, I did my best the first cast I ever did, but I have to say I improved really well over the course of those 2 years. But man, if I look back at that, I was like, what the fuck am I talking about? What am I doing? Anyways, very slow game so far from both of these players. Chuchani a lot quicker with his expansion this time around, but once again, Hulk is lurking to do some damage onto this expansion. And Chuchani has to work on his building placement, because the way he has set up his expansion and his base crawling makes it really hard to defend. And also at the same time, the flame towers don't really serve any good purpose right now. If he has set up his MCV maybe over here and did like a base crawling in this diagonal line, it would have been a little bit better to help him in the long term. Oh, going around here is gonna suck, because that means his harvesters are gonna suffer damage, and because of that he actually lost a harvester. He's gonna lose another one because he didn't retreat that one in time, and he actually stopped chasing that army down as well. This is not looking great. So that means that army from Hulk did not die in vain. And lots of Chuchani's tanks are just chilling in the middle. I also feel like he goes too fast into Radar Dome. Seems like he made a habit out of that. But let's have a look at his production. Okay, he's going for an airfield, but besides that, not much tier 2 being used. But he did lose a couple of harvesters, so the timing was just not the best going Radar Dome. Arkenstone makes ethnic ambience music his whole life, comes to Emperor, drops to Mob Bath, adds Industrial Rock, doesn't elaborate and leaves. Yep. Made some really nice music. He did a better job than Frank Klepacki did, in my opinion, in terms of the Dune universe, because I believe Dune, Klepacki made a treatise OST, and then Arkenstone did Harkonnen, and I'm assuming someone else did Ordos as well. Anyways, once again, another successful attack from Hulk. Chuchani is chilling at a position that is very questionable to me. He's not going to do anything about this attack. Not sure what he was doing, because he responded pretty late, but he already lost 2 harvesters again and a refinery. He's going to lose his war factory as well. Hulk is doing a lot of damage very quickly. I like the fact that he checked out the gem mine with the low HP tank. Willing to lose that tank just to get a little bit of intel. But yeah, but Chuchani is gonna return the favor, and he is pretty much going to get a free expansion over here on the right side. Oh, Mendelssohn made Ordos. To be frank, I don't think I've ever listened to Ordos OST. But if you want to play OpenRA, if you want to play Dune competitively, then I highly recommend you playing Ordos, because they are broken. They are literally freaking broken. Because they have a tank that can mind control. It's actually super it's really OP. It's broken and overpowered. Oh, Flamer's in full effect here. It's a big heavy tank charge as well, but some of those heavy tanks are chasing the harvesters. He actually might regret that, because those extra heavy tanks could assure that he would have won this engagement. But still, being able to take out a couple of harvesters is still a good trade. Oh, but he's not pursuing though. He's focusing on other stuff. He's being attacked elsewhere. Seems like Chuchani has recovered somewhat nicely, but he still needs to build a new war factory, and those 3 tanks in the bottom are his last remaining heavy tanks, whereas Hulk has still 2 war factories left. Also, Chuchani did not finish this refinery, so Hulk still has decent eco. Talking about eco, let's have a look at the harvesters. Chuchani is currently sitting at 5 harvesters, and Hulk is still at 6, even though he lost a decent amount of those in the bottom right earlier. It has cooled down a little bit, so that we're gonna use this time to look at the graphs. So yeah, because of all those harvester snipes, we can definitely see that Hulk for most of the time was in the lead, but now he's got a significant drop as well because he lost his expansion on the right side. Talking about army, Chuchani has actually been ahead for quite a bit, but that is mainly due to the fact that Hulk actually sacrificed some of his army to get those eco harassments going. So in the long term, I would say that Hulk is ahead right now, even though it doesn't really look like it, but eventually I feel like he is ahead. He still has war factory production. He still has decent eco. He's been using the gems as well to give him that little boost, whereas Chuchani has not done that. He's got a new MCV going back to that expansion. He should be good. Chuchani also didn't use his advantage of taking out this expansion. He could have claimed that with sending over an MCV, going for a base push, and deny this expansion from Hulk. But now he's going to try his luck on the other side. But there's a very solid defense there with flamethrowers included. Flamethrowers in the vendor's advantage are huge. Here we go. Once again, Hulk is going to go with an attack on the right side. Big heavy tank count here. And Chuchani does have a new war factory ready. But he might lose his SD this time. Oh, no, no. Oh, yes. Wow, he cooked a lot of his own units there. Hulk can definitely take this engagement purely on the heavy tank count. But he's going to retreat. He got what he wanted. He got the SD, did a little bit of damage. And he wants to get the hell out of there. In the meantime, we got a counter attack from Chuchani on the left side. He's going to try his luck again on this little expansion. Hulk does have a little bit of troubles with keeping this expansion safe. If he decided to build this expansion on this side, making it so that his ore patch is behind his base, then it's harder for Chuchani to harass that eco. But this time around, it's easier to harass that eco because the ore patch is in front of the base. That's one of those key things to look out for. My man's spitting fire over here. Hulk is gonna successfully defend that attack from Chuchani. And the destroyed loss count is looking very similar. There's only 1k difference here.
The cities of Nod will rise.
Alright, once again another attack onto the main base. In danger of losing a harvester here, and because he still has no armor count, in fact his war factory is not producing at all. That means he could lose this engagement. Flamers being able to being defended from with the heavy tanks soaking like that can wipe the floor with infantry only armies. But regardless of that fact, Hulk is gonna retreat. Once again, he did some good damage and keeping most of his army alive. He built a new war factory over here as well, so that's his third war factory, I believe. Yeah, his war factory is still idle. He's not building tanks at all. And that is gonna do it eventually. Okay, good attack here. Takes out the refinery. Went by unnoticed by Hulk. But Hulk is still gonna clean it up though. Bro, flamethrowers look so strong. Especially in large numbers, they're actually ridiculous. They also, once again, Chuchani is a little bit blind. Like, look at this. He doesn't really have any scouts. He has one scout over here. He could use his yaks to get some intel as well to see what's going on the map. Hulk is also in a really good position to go tier 2. I think he should have gone tier 2 a little bit sooner as well. 17 minutes is also potentially even tier 3 territory. But regardless of that fact, Hulk has been doing fairly nicely with still doing damage to Chuchani, taking out 2 harvesters again without being punished for it. Chuchani here on the offense into the expansion, but because of the static defense support, Hulk is going to be able to keep this expansion safe this time around. And it is 16k versus 8k currently. And it's only going to get worse. The war factory is still idle for Chuchani. It's been, I believe, idle for at least 3 to 4 minutes right now. This time he's using his yaks fairly well. He sees another expansion. He's like, god damn. That expansion's been sitting there on the right side as well. Sheesh. MCV under attack though. Hulk is going in for the chase. He wants to take it out. But this time around, the harvesters from Chuchani are doing some nice soaking. Hulk sees the MCV though. Chuchani's like, oh shit, 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 oh shit. But the MCV goes down. Heavy tank was able to take it out. Slowly but surely, Hulk is chipping away at Chuchani here. Yeah, Minions games are always so different compared to like Master games. Master games are always like very straightforward, very meta heavy. You pretty much know what's going on. But Minions matches, you can expect pretty much everything. No rules. MCV chilling. Yeah, he be chilling. Oh no. Oh, actually that harvester might get away. Yes. He did get away. That's mostly because most minions enhance. Yeah, but I mean, look at the fact of triple TP versus Leaf last week as well. Also, speaking about challenges, I added a couple of new challenges. If you guys are interested, I think it's all. I asked 2 more. There's an Ask Me Anything challenge you can spend points on, and there is a new impression reward as well. I will do an impression with my glorious body. Any unit that you want. But don't ask me to do tanks because that's physically impossible. So if you do that, I'm just going to ignore your requests. Okay, I'm gonna do that when this game finishes. Can we get you to impersonate dogs? Okay, you're cheating right now using the technically I could, but that means you have to spend 10k points though. No light tank caution. Sorry, Talix. You will have to provide that yourself. I mean, you're pretty much the light tank god. Alright, 23k versus 8k. Hulk has been chipping away at Chichani slowly but surely, and the damage is showing here for sure. War Factory is no longer idle, luckily. What is he building? Harvesters. That's why he probably remembered. And I ate some shish kebab today and it's not doing well. It's currently doing a world war in my stomach. Bro, I can't even remember the voice lines of a mechanic. I'm gonna need to do some cheating before we get into that. Do I have a briefcase here? I did have a briefcase here, actually. Well, we don't have that, so you guys just have to imagine that I'm carrying a briefcase, alright? Or not really a briefcase, but an actual case. The yuck. Yeah, alright, we'll do that, we'll get it. We'll be fine. Hey, we've got triple TP in the house as well. Will you answer this question? No. Absolutely not, good sir. The only thing that is weird is not really being highlighted. I wish it would have the same effect as the highlight my message thingy. Wow, and now Hulk is gonna claim the gem mine from Chichani. Well, if you're not gonna use it, allow me to introduce myself. My name is MCV, and I will take over this ground, this land, this pity light. Alright, big attack once going in. Look at the amount of flamethrowers in this army. Oh my god! Chichani is in a wave of flames. And Chichani is getting cooked, and that's why he calls it GG. And before we move on,
terminated.
Does Ganon count as a character? I'm gonna say no because I don't want to behave like an idiot. shout out to Ganon. All right. Debug mode.
Battle control initialized.
All right.
Affirmative.
Building. Cancel construction complete.
I don't really need to build that.
Build construction complete.
mechanic.
Training unit ready.
All right.
Howdy. I hear you. Sure thing, boss. Yes, sir. Rise and shine. I hear you.
I hear you.
Rise and shine.
Jesus. Okay. Let's do it.
Battle
do it.
control terminated.
We got this. The autopilot. Yeah. Which the last one? Okay, Blackened versus Cav. All right. Let's go. Let's see. We need to go full cam. Where's my? Do I wait? I'm not even sure if he wears this, but you know, it is what it is, right? It doesn't matter. We don't have a briefcase, so I'm just, you know, like, sure thing, boss. Yeehaw! I'll get on my way. I need to go over there and repair some tanks. I'll be right back. Fuck! Alright, instead of a mechanic, I actually need a fucking medic right now. Fuck! Okay. Oh, for fuck's sake. Alright, well, that challenge is out. We're done with that challenge. We're never doing that again. Alright. Well. Moving on. We are going to the last match of this highlight reel. After that, we have Widow versus Ix. And then we're going to close it off with the new OpenRA mode that I have designed. So, let's go. Blackened versus Cav, the match of the week, picked by Triple TP. We've got Blackened in the top left playing as Germany, and we've got Cav in the bottom right playing as Russia. You need to put a red health bar above you. I used to have that actually. Pretty sure the mechanic doesn't swear. Yeah, this is the caution version. Yeah, the or something like that, you know. Oh, or like the that's how they also die. Is he favored to finish the top? Yeah, Cav is still very solid. I think he and Blackened, which are both playing in this match, are currently at the top 2 of Master Division, qualified for the playoffs. I think Dang was contested with them, but unfortunately he dropped out due to medical reasons. So yeah, Cav's still very strong. But yeah, the thing is, even though that Cav doesn't play OpenRA, he is still playing Command & Conquer Riddler 2 on a daily basis. So his skills are not really going away. Despro is also qualified, I think. But there is a chance. Let me have a small look. Yeah. So far, the thing is, so far Despro is in top 4. But he only has played pretty much half of his matches. So he's actually looking great, but he still has 8 games to play. So his result can only get better. Yeah, rusty or not. Alright, well. This should be a very exciting match, one we haven't seen yet. Both players of strong caliber. But Blackened is going with the light tank strats. And if you, I'm not sure if you guys remember from the previous season, There was only one player in the group stages that managed to piss off Cav, and that was Anju. And Anju actually went with some sort of a similar light tank build. I think he actually skipped Rax as well. I'm not entirely sure, but I remembered Cav being destroyed by light tanks. He was saying in-game that this is lame or something like that. And then there was a discussion about it in Discord. It was kind of funny. Besides that, Cav wiped the floor with pretty much everyone except Goat. Was that last season? Or was that season 11? No, that was season 11 even. That's 2 seasons ago. Damn, time flies. Time definitely flies. But yeah, we're seeing 5 light tanks from Blackened. And actually, this is a similar situation where this could work. This could definitely work out. Alright, Blackened knows where the army is, so he's gonna group up, going for the crushes. Here we go. Scatter command has been initialized, but it doesn't really matter with so many light tanks. Ranger is gonna help killing infantry, and the Ranger is gonna be very useful right now because he can snipe rockets. That's the thing. 4 light tanks make it through. Ranger's gonna kill another rocket soldier, so all the rocket soldiers have been killed. Light tanks now are having free reign on the power plants, but yeah, the Ranger is low. One more hit from the APC is gonna do it, but Blackened or Cav is low power though. And I'm assuming actually Cav has spent quite a bit of money on rocket soldiers already, but he's looking good in terms of cash, but he's not looking great in terms of power. So now he is going to lose his SD. He might lose. Oh yeah, now it's getting rough. Rocket soldier is gonna die. Oh, gets the crush. Oh, that's huge. That means these light tanks can linger around even more, harassing the power plant again, putting Cav in low power again for the time being. These light tanks have paid off significantly. Look at the army that Blackened has been able to produce, and he moved out his main MCV as well so he can produce medium tanks. Still, this is really, really good. Those 5 light tanks worked out. And if you want to piss off Cav, then this is the way to do it for sure. Tailix, this one's for you, buddy. Yeah, that pretty much was the case. Very effective, and it set back Cav a lot. The question is it going to be enough? And my guess is definitely yes. Oh, nice reactions from Cav there. He's gonna be able to snipe that NG. Really nice. In the meantime, the army has arrived. It is a big army, but is the medium tank going to suffice is the question. So far the answer is yes, but the medium tank has fallen. All the APCs has been killed as well. More reinforcements are coming in, and that is probably going to do it. The infantry is way too strong. The defenses cannot save Cav, and his base is going down. Harvesters are being pulled, but remember what I said, if you have to pull the harvesters, then you're probably already in a very bad spot to be in. Regardless, the harvesters are getting a significant amount of crushes, but the only thing it does, besides saving your ass for a little bit longer, is ruining your eco even more. But there is still enough army around to destroy these buildings. Flame tower gets popped in the middle, but still enough rocket count to deal with that. SD is going to go down. Yeah, this is over. Blackened has done it with what we could call cheese, but you know, it worked out. More reinforcements coming in. They could potentially kill the harvesters. Yeah, look at that. Oh, they almost got it. The medium tank is gonna finish it off. No. Seeing some cheese in OpenRA is fun. Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's just it just takes the it's like a little shift in the meta, you know. It's something different. Like I said, OpenRA is mostly straightforward. You know what you can expect from a game like this, and it's just fun to see like a different approach. And sometimes it can catch people off guard. Yes, it was a risk, like if Cav, but it had to be scouted because otherwise Cav was not ready for it, and he wasn't.
Battle
Alright,
control
first game going to
terminated.
Blackened. And let's see if he can keep that going in the second game.
Battle
We're
control
playing on
initialized.
Elevation, made by I Like Men. And this time Cav is gonna start as allies as well. He spawns in the top right. Blackened, aka Redent, is gonna spawn in the bottom left, playing as Britain. So we've got an allied mirror on our hands this time. And I'm not sure, potentially the light tank build kit is pretty much viable on any map. But I definitely believe it could work on a map like this as well, because it's a very big map with a lot of neutral objectives. So the chances of the other player, your opponent, his army being elsewhere besides his main base, trying to capture neutral objectives, is fairly high. However, at the same time, Cav is probably on edge right now. He probably wants to prevent from that happening again in this game. So I'm assuming Blacken is not going to do that this time around. However, I could be wrong, but judging from the infantry investment already, I don't think that is going to be the case. So we got fairly similar openings right now, even in terms of NG. And going for that forward command is very smart early on. You want to capture that as fast as you can, because you don't want your opponent to deny you that forward command and deny you that extra ore patch that you don't even need an MCV for. Rifleman managed to sneak by. Luckily, the NG will be safe, and this attack is pretty good, and the medic is actually being very useful here, reducing his losses to almost nothing, I believe. Rifle in the meantime got taken out, and Blacken is gonna take out that oil preemptively. Oh! Wait, what? Run, Forrest, run! No, the rockets! Okay. Most often refers to an unexpected strategy that relies in large parts on lack of information, psychological input, and code. Cheese build orders typically revolve around an early attack that, if undertaken, is more difficult to defend than execute. I would say it is cheese, but at the same, it's still very highly debatable, because I believe, like, in terms of the OpenRA community, cheese is more like doing something goofy like. That's where, even though that it is not the exact definition of what cheese should be, that feels more relatable in my experiences as well, what cheese has been in OpenRA so far. That being said, is the light tank build cheese? I would say more no than yes, because also cheese at the same time is also usually not like a very high risk build, but it is a build that is going to make it hard for you if you do not succeed in pulling it off. But it's also very subjective. I believe a lot of people see the term cheese differently than others. But so far we have seen anything but cheese in this game. And Cav managed to deny this tech center being taken over, or I think it's comm center in this one. This is comm center. I think they have a different name in TD, or are they just called prison? I think they were actually prisons in the campaign. Still a very weird building for a prison, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. It's dead. Alright, so still Blacken is in the lead for the time being. He went for a light tank. Cav went for the ranger. But slowly but surely, so far we haven't really seen any highly packed action stuff so far in this game. Then again, it's only minute 5. A lot of stuff can still happen. And happen it will. So far, Blacken hasn't gone for a refinery on this side yet, which is interesting. So Cav's eco is definitely in a better state than Blacken's, but he's got a nice eco slide going on here. Talking about that, let's see what's going on. Both players are on 6 harvesters, and yeah, Cav's earnings have been a little bit better, but not that much. But he might be losing this expansion anyways. It's very strongly protected. There's a turret and 3 pillboxes, but they are not being microed. So yeah, they're not going to do much with all those medium tanks supporting him. Harvesters go pulled back. In the meantime, Cav is doing the exact same thing. Harvesters are being pulled back as well. Is there another pillbox ready? No, there is not. So Cav is going to destroy this most likely. He's going to kill the forward command as well. Oh, I like this counter attack, and this is very nice timing. When the 2 harvesters arrived, that's when Blacken put the pillbox down. And even though he still lost his harvesters, he still lost some eco, he did manage to keep his forward command safe, whereas Cav did not. And not only does he not keep his forward command safe, it seems like he cannot keep his main base safe either. And this is probably GG. Even if Cav manages to pull this off, the damage has been done. Cav throws in the towel, and Blacken takes it 2-0 over Cav. Very fast 2 games. One that was with quote-unquote cheese, the other one being all himself. No cheese, just pure nice gameplay there. And yeah, that means we're gonna go on